Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the Home Weather Office on this Friday morning. It is the 18th day of August, 2023. This is the morning briefing. And this is all going to be all about Hurricane Hilary and its impact on California coming up for Sunday and into the day on Monday. There's still some disagreement in terms of what it will mean for Northern California in terms of how much rain we might see and where the rain, no rain line might be. I'll show you that here in a second. But the biggest impact is going to be on Southern California. And I don't think I can understate this. This is going to have I don't think I can overstate this. This is going to have a significant impact on Southern California and should not be taken lightly, especially in areas like San Diego County. So let's get right to it. As I record this just after 8 o'clock this morning, we just got the latest track in from the National Hurricane Center. The strength is now 145 miles an hour. That's basically been pretty steady during the overnight hours. 145 miles an hour makes it a Category 4 storm, moving to the northwest at 10 miles an hour. The M's that you see here, that is major hurricane, so that's Category 3 or higher, weakening to a probably Category 2 storm here, Category 1 storm here. The difference this morning is that now the National Hurricane Center does keep it as a tropical storm all the way into Southern California and basically all the way up to Bakersfield. So that means that it has the tropical characteristics. It has winds that are sustained in excess of 35 miles an hour. And we are going to have to keep an eye on that because that means that we could see even more damage in terms of wind damage, especially in Southern California and especially in San Diego and Los Angeles County. I'll talk more about that here in just a second. The other thing that you'll note is that notice the distance in the increments here. And I talked about the fact that it's moving northwesterly at 10 miles an hour. So at 10 miles an hour, these are your 12-hour increments right in here. Well, those 12-hour increments suddenly get spaced out. So you'll notice the forward speed really increases, and that is going to be one of the things that will help us out quite a bit here in terms of the flood threat in Southern California. I'm not saying we're not going to get flooding. It's just that this thing, by the time it gets up toward the county line of San Diego County, it'll be starting to accelerate fast. So it won't be sticking around in one area very long. So let me get to some of the model data. Now, it's nice we have a close-up sector here for Southern California. And I'm showing you the early morning North American model, the NAM. This is Saturday night. These are bands of rain that will come out ahead of it. And so for those of you in San Diego County, Palm Springs, and up toward the Southern Sierra, we will start to see some rain. Those are just kind of some of the moisture that's being streamed off the northern part of the storm. And then as we get into the day on Sunday, you'll start to see the storm itself. Here it is right here with the isobars packed in pretty tightly right in here. Now, as the storm is circulating in this direction, what we will have here are easterly winds. This is Sunday afternoon at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Strong easterly winds, and we talk quite often in the wintertime about orographic flow in the Sierra and how that provides lift. Well, this easterly flow will provide lift going into the mountains of San Diego County so that the mountains will be squeezing out a lot more in the way of rain from this. This is at 5 o'clock on Sunday. The circulation is centered right here. That would be the center of the tropical storm. Whether or not it still has tropical storm status at that point, well, we'll see, but a tropical storm making landfall in California, certainly significant. There is going to be one difference, however. Let me just kind of point out one thing here. This is different from, let's say, Atlantic Basin hurricanes. And at that time, we talk about landfall, we talk about eye walls, we talk about storm surge. We're not talking about that because the landfall, if you will, with this will be on Baja. And so as it makes its way into California, there really isn't the storm surge to deal with. We're mostly talking about the potential for damaging gusty winds, especially in San Diego County, maybe LA County, and Riverside County as well. But the biggest threat is going to be flooding. So the difference between Atlantic Basin landfalling hurricanes or tropical storms and this one is as that whole storm surge sort of thing. This is going to be a little bit different. But either way, we will be seeing the storm perhaps as a tropical storm in San Diego County. Now, as we go, this is 5 o'clock on Sunday. Into the evening, now it really falls apart, and this will be where it transitions just to a low. And this is Sunday night at 10 o'clock, and you notice how quickly it gets out of the area. This is Monday morning. There will be some residual rain, but the wind will be down and the damage will have been done, and this is Monday afternoon. So I'll go back through that. You'll notice just how quickly this moves through. This is Sunday at 4 o'clock. I should say at 2 o'clock. And then by the time the sun comes up on Monday, this thing is long gone. So that's the close-up look. Let's look at the total precip accumulation. You'll notice this area here. I talked about the easterly flow, and that area right there, that is the mountains. And the mountains, as I scroll over this 7 inches of rain, the western part of San Diego County, bit wind sheltered, half an inch of rain. But then you go farther to the north through Orange County and LA County, there will be some favored areas that may see 3-4 inches of rain. And then farther to the north, the same thing. This will have a lot to do with the amount of rain we get will have a lot to do with the orographics and just how this sets up. So there'll be some areas, look down toward Yuma, only gets about 1/4 of an inch of rain. But the mountainous areas will see significant amounts of rain, and I'll show you the significance of that here in just a second. So what about Northern California? Well, this is, I'll remind you, this is just one model run. This is the North American model. And so this is Saturday. This is Sunday early morning. There's rain in the Sierra. And then here comes the storm. And this is first thing on Monday morning. Right in here, this is the overnight. This has the low, well, basically out to Elko. There's a high building in behind it. That would keep places like Butte County and Sacramento County and even the foothills dry. And the rain, I'll tell you, the rain-no rain line is going to be pretty stark in Northern California. Actually, that's a low. That's the secondary low. That's the secondary low building in behind it. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a Fujiwara effect in there. So yeah, I think that's really what's messing with the models is the existing low that we have in here. So the circulation around this low kicks that low from the storm farther to the east. And so that's getting into the day Tuesday. So that's the that's the way the NAM looks at it. And the total precip accumulation here in the Sierra, it's pretty good. Tahoe Basin, 1 inch of rain, 1.25 inches. A very beneficial rain for fire season, certainly. We're not talking about thunderstorms, we're talking about steady rain. But if I look at the GFS from last night's GFS, this morning's GFS is not in yet as I record this. That has rain over the valley on Monday. So this model, total precip accumulation. This model gives Sacramento 1/2 inch of rain, 3/4 of an inch of rain in Butte County. So, this is our dilemma for Northern California. Is that right or is that right? We don't know. We're just good for Northern California. The impact on the impact for Northern California, wind not an issue. All we're talking about is rain, and we're not talking about flooding rains. So the damaging part of the storm is Southern California. Northern California is not going to see damaging wind or rain from the storm. What we will see is the possibility of a beneficial rain for many, and especially in terms of our fire season. We could see 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain in many parts of the area, especially in the foothills and the Sierra. And that in mid-August, we rarely see that. And that's really awesome. So the damaging part of the storm, Southern California. And for those of you in San Diego, Riverside, Imperial counties, you cannot take this storm lightly. And there's precedent to this. And for that, I want to show you something that somebody brought up in one of the in my Facebook chat last night, and that is Hurricane Kathleen. I hadn't thought about this one, but somebody brought this up, so I looked it up. So this is Hurricane Kathleen. Now, Kathleen was not as strong as the one we have right now, but the track looks kind of similar, doesn't it? So here was the track going inland and then going into Southern California here. This was September 7th to 12th, 1976. And look at the rain in the mountains in Southern California, 14 inches of rain. Down in Mexico, one location down in here saw 6 inches of rain. So you'll notice the areas that are highlighted just kind of looks like what I just showed you from the NAM, doesn't it? These areas right in here, getting all that rain. Lesser rain as you go up through the Sierra. Lesser rain, but still some pretty good rain, more than an inch of rain in parts of Nevada. And parts of the southern Sierra also saw 3 to 4 inches of rain. But notice that you get to the Central Valley in the northern part of the state, and there's very little rain. So that's Hurricane Kathleen. As I was reading about Kathleen, it talked about a town in the deserts of Southern California. And this is something that I just kind of want to point out because there are going to be some areas that could be have a significant impact from this. So here's San Diego, and then, of course, here are the high deserts. I'm going to zoom in on this town that I'm probably going to mispronounce, Ocotillo. It's right here on Interstate 8, just north of the U.S.-Mexico border. So this town was basically wiped out from Hurricane Kathleen. They had, they said 60 to 80% of the town was destroyed. Parts of Interstate 8 were damaged. Quarter mile of it was damaged. There were bridges washed out. And so if you look at this town, okay, and you widen out, well, look right here, we have that easterly flow going into these mountains. So these mountains are catching all the rain, and then where does it drain? And if you look at it here on Google Earth, this whole area right here is basically an alluvial fan. And you see that down here, same thing. You see an alluvial fan. You see it here. So, and there are all sorts of examples of these alluvial fans, like right in here. And it's the communities that are below these alluvial fans, but below these mountains that are basically built in these alluvial fans that have the potential for flooding. Now, Ocotillo got it in 1976, but you look out here, here's another area in here. Now there's no population out in here, but if you go farther to the north, let's see, we'll go out toward the Salton Sea, and then farther to the north toward Palm Springs, well, same thing. I mean, look at this drainage in here. It goes right into a golf course. There's another one here. There's another one here. So for those of you that are in Palm Springs or have concerns about Palm Springs, it's one of those areas that we have to watch, because it may not be Palm Springs, and we've been showing this on TV that Palm Springs might get 6 inches of rain. Well, if the mountains above Palm Springs get 12 to 15 inches of rain, it's that drainage that will overwhelm the washes in the downstream valleys, and that's how you get the flash flooding. You get that on top of the 5 or 6 inches of rain that Palm Springs might get. So that's why I say, for those of you in Southern California, and especially in the high deserts, you have to take this storm seriously. Travel, I would not recommend traveling around Palm Springs on Sunday and Monday. I-15, I-8, Sunday, Monday, not good places to be, and especially on Sunday night, because there could be washouts. There could be a lot of areas that are totally underwater. So there's a lot to get through with Hilary, and like I said, for Southern California, you really have to take this seriously. For Northern California, well, the impact is going to be minimal, but we might see some rain, and like I said, it could be some beneficial rain. Because of the severity of this storm, and I know there's a lot of interest in this storm, I will provide updates throughout the weekend here on the YouTube channel. I'll do one on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon after the 5 p.m. update, and then the same thing on Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon so you can get some YouTube updates on what is going on and with the storm right here on YouTube. I know there are a lot of other outlets, but if you do need an outlet for this, and perhaps you're in Southern California and you lose power or something like that, do make sure that your devices are all charged ahead of this, because you may lose power, and I'll provide you whatever information I can. So that's everything I've got for you on this Friday morning. Just one other note, it's going to be a nice day in Northern California. Temperature's much cooler. The weekend looks like it's going to be okay as well. So I'll have more updates for you on TV tonight at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11. And as I mentioned, YouTube updates throughout the weekend. Oh, and a Facebook live chat tonight at 8 o'clock. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.